Hello, and welcome to our video on the goat milking stand, or as I like to call it, making things from other things you just happen to have lying around. So this milking stand started with the coffee table, which you can see here. My wife picked that up at an auction for about $2 or $3, and it just sat in the basement for a while. Decided that we needed a milking stand because the first little while after we got the goats, we were milking them without, which was awkward to say the least. We had one of us crouching down trying to milk the goats while the other one would hold her still. So I found some designs for goat milk stands online and based this on that. What I did was I took the table as the base unit, and then I added the uprights here for the head. So her head goes through the hole here, and that holds her in place while we milk. They're attached to the table with this cross piece. To make that easier on myself, what I did was I put this board and then I drilled some screws in to hold the upright to the board, and then once that was done I screwed the board down onto the table. Now this piece here I didn't actually screw to the board because I wanted it to be able to pivot like this. So it is attached just on the back here. We've got another piece that's attached down onto the board, and then that's where it pivots. We initially had in the front here, we had an ice cream tub, empty ice cream tub that we used for feed. That was just to get them used to the milking stand. So what would happen is we'd get the goat up on the table, we close the uprights around her head, and then we use some rope just to tie it shut, and she would happily eat her feed while we milked her. And then, you know, as time got by, we got better at it. So initially they would finish their feed long before we'd finish milking them, but eventually it got to the point where we were finishing at the same time, or in the case of our son, the champion milker, way before she finished her food. And in part two, we'll give you a demonstration of how we milk them, go over some of the tips and tricks, and talk about some of the differences between milking a goat as opposed to milking a cow. Alright, so Sky here is going to help me with part two, where we're going to look at the actual milking of the goat. So Sky is going to play the part of the goat, and I will play the part of the person milking her. So our first order of business is we want to clean off the area we're going to be working in, because frankly she spent all day outside and lay down in the dirt some. So I've just got some wipes here, and what we do is go over and we just clean off her udders and her teats. Make sure that there's nothing on there that we need to worry about, because you don't want that kind of stuff in your milk when you're drinking it. And pay particular attention to the tip, because that's where the opening is, and we don't want her to get any infections with any nastiness getting inside. Once that's done, we're ready to start milking. They say you should use a glass or a metal container, so I've got a crown jar here that my wife picked up at a yard sale for a song, so that's what we use. And just squeeze it the first little bit like that before we start milking, so that if there's anything in it, it's not getting into the milk that we use. There are a few differences between milking a goat and milking a cow. First thing you'll notice is the number of udders. Cow has 4 and our goat has 2. You can see them right there, 2. There's also a difference in technique. With a cow there's some pulling, whereas with a goat really what you do is you want to get your hand around and you squeeze to stop the milk going back up, and then you apply pressure and the milk will come out at the bottom. So I'm going to do that now. You can see there it goes. So I just milk into the jar, squeeze at the top, and then apply pressure downwards. And when I'm done, loosen my hand, let some more milk flow in from the udder to the teat, and I can keep going.